First off, welcome everybody. This is Crew Talk right here. Host Just JB of the Wrestling Crew, and right now, obviously, joining us is the king of content, our main content creator at RealTWC, Sharif the Goat, the best around, making the content for the best page on Instagram, for the best wrestling content on Instagram. I can go on and on and on, but this is a show that we've been trying to get going for a while. We've done like Sharif, correct me if I'm wrong. We did a live one at Elimination Chamber, I think, and we have like these pre and post shows and stuff like that. But we're really doing something with now we're starting to do actual show with the podcast and stuff like that, and we're getting going. There's Carlton right here. What's up, Carlton?
Yo, what is up? SummerSlam Sunday, baby.
SummerSlam Sunday. And we got Carlton with us right now. So this is the main three of RealTWC. Everybody who's eventually going to see this show. This is the group right here. We have other crew members. Shout out to Brandau. Shout out to Serge. Shout out to Stako. And shout out to anybody else I missed off the top of my head. Y'all correct me with that. But yeah, let's get to it. So Carlton, I was just talking with Sharif. Just going to talk about SummerSlam, man. Sharif right now, he's watching our favorite SummerSlam moments, like just SummerSlam in general. Right now, Sharif's watching SummerSlam 1999. So let's talk about that. Like that, Sharif, you said you're watching this D'Lo. You saw D'Lo versus Double J, Jeff Jarrett. Don't piss me off, Jarrett.
Yeah, I was just telling them, like, they was having a match, and then, like, Mark Henry came to the ring, and he hit the shit out of D'Lo with the guitar, man. Like, he knocked him out. Like, it was hilarious.
Before I get going, can you guys hear me clearly?
Yeah, you good, man.
Okay, cool. Something popped up. All right, cool. Yeah, man, like Mark Henry just knocked the crap out of that man, dude. Like, yeah. Well, I told y'all I was making a list of best SummerSlam matches. And y'all, it was hard. It was very, very difficult for me to do. It was very hard. Y'all saw the list I put out. I'm gonna put it on our TikTok page later, and I'll put it on our page too. But it wasn't easy, y'all. I came up with number 10, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. Number 9, Rock versus Angle versus Triple H at SummerSlam 2000. Number 8, Austin versus Angle, SummerSlam 2001. Number 7, Brett versus Owen, SummerSlam 1994, the cage match. Number 6, HBK, the GOAT, versus Razor Ramon, Intercontinental title match. Number 5, TLC 1. 2000. That's people forget TLC 1 was pretty good. Number 4, Brock Lesnar versus CM Punk at a no DQ SummerSlam 2013. Number 3, Brett versus Mr. Perfect, Intercontinental Championship, 1991. Number 2, HBK versus Triple H, non-sanctioned match, SummerSlam 2002. And number 1, Brett versus Bulldog, SummerSlam 1992. It was tough. But on the honorable mention list that I made up, I think that could be the top 10 too. Like, SummerSlam's a good pay-per-view. Like, SummerSlam's a stacked pay-per-view. Sharif, 1999, Test versus Shane McMahon is on my honorable mention list. That was a good match. That match showed that Test was coming up, and showed that Shane McMahon was like that he could do something. You know what I mean? Like, crazy.
And if I'm not mistaken, that may have been the first time Shane did the elbow through the table. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that may have been.
It's one of the first times. Yeah. So SummerSlam, I know it's considered WrestleMania of the summer, but SummerSlam is like wall to wall. It's historically a great pay-per-view. I'm just telling y'all, it was very tough to try to even think of 10 20, let alone 10 great matches from SummerSlam. So yeah. Sharif, what's your favorite? What do you think is what's your favorite SummerSlam?
So my favorite SummerSlam, probably
maybe not just your favorite, but name your favorites. What are just name your moments that you like?
Just some of my favorites. SummerSlam 2000. I think was really good. I think that was the one where you were talking about the TLC match.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people get confused about is WrestleMania 2000 actually wasn't a TLC match. They added the tables into the match. But that actually wasn't a TLC match. But that was actually the first. Trying to remember what else was on that. Oh, the triple threat match between Triple H, Rock, and Angle.
Yep.
That was a good match. To me, the funny part about that SummerSlam was when Jim Ross grabbed the candy and he hit the mess out of Ted. Right in the that was my favorite part of that, like, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, like Shane falling from the top of the Titan truck.
Yeah.
That was So that's probably my favorite SummerSlam, like, all time, just because of all those things. It was just like that heat of like just like everything was just like extreme, but like still like flowing. So yeah, that was probably my like top one.
Nice. Dalton, what do you think? What are some of your favorite SummerSlams?
No, I would agree. I was actually on with Reese. I'm just like, yo, like Shane falling from like the top of the ceiling is like probably one of the best SummerSlam, because like if you look at it, like when you take a bump, like, and it ain't just any bump. My man was like so far in the air, like, and dropped down. I'm like, man, that's one of the top. And honestly, like the Bulldog one, honestly, that's one of my top one as well. Because it's not just like, well, it's Bret Hart versus his brother-in-law, but like if you think about it, like the location of it, like how it went down, the storyline, like you look behind the scenes and it's just like, yo, that drum was like lit, like it was just like on fire, like it was. Like, I like the storyline behind it. I think what makes wrestling good is the storyline behind every single match that they can create. And that storyline, like, even with family, even though they're blood family, like, it was good. So that was I would say that was one of my top favorite matches of SummerSlam.
Cool. Now for me, y'all are going to laugh at this, but it's not surprising. I think SummerSlam 2000 is my second favorite SummerSlam. My first favorite SummerSlam, you know what? 2000 is my favorite, but 2002 holds a special place in my heart because HBK comes back out of retirement. Michael Jordan style comes out of retirement and takes on Triple H. And not only does he have a good match, he has one of the best matches in SummerSlam history. He comes back. Yeah, you're like, you're hoping when you're watching the match, you're hoping that he's like, that he's safe, right? Triple H is a safe worker. I'm happy that Triple H was his first opponent back, because Triple H, he's a ring general. He can, he's not going to mess up the person he's working with. And that trust was there. It was intense. When HBK came out, like he wasn't in his ring attire, but he had the street clothes on, and he was doing his cockiness, his cocky spiel that he always does, and he looked good, like doing a splash off the top rope, bringing the ladder out, and Triple H being the sadistic cerebral assassin heel that he was at the time, like that match for me, like to see it was great. So I think that's definitely one of my favorite SummerSlam moments. But there's a bunch. That same pay-per-view was Brock versus Brock. That same pay-per-view was The Rock versus Brock Lesnar, which was
if you
passing of
look
the
at
torch.
Yeah, but if you look at it, and I forgot about that. Like, actually, that's one of the top SummerSlams that I watch all the time, because if you look at when Shawn Michaels came back, he was out for 3 years getting his back together, like 4 years. Yeah, he was out after he gave the belt up to Austin. I get it, and he came back, and my man came back in jeans and a t-shirt, and he wasn't even in wrestling tights. And he came back and just lit the show up. Honestly, like, it was Brock versus Rock. Like, who would have known? Because that year, it was Shawn Michaels' year. Like, he came back and let everybody know, like, he's coming back and he's going to put on a show. And
yeah.
That was, when I saw him do a moonsault off the freaking top rope.
Like, it was nothing.
This dude is sitting there doing an elbow drop outside of the freaking ring. I'm like, oh my God, JR freaking lost his mind. Like that was one of the top moments. And I'm just, yeah, I agree. That's one of the like most monumental moments in SummerSlam history because, like Shawn Michaels said, hey, if he can still do it, he's going to test it out at SummerSlam. And of course, he tested it out, and you see what happened there. He won the World Heavyweight Championship in the first ever, what is it? The hell?
Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, Chamber. Yeah, he came up first ever World Heavyweight Champion, first ever winner in the Chamber, and that's just because he's the GOAT. Like, I give Shawn Michaels the GOAT minus AJ Styles, but he is the GOAT.
Speaking of AJ Styles, actually on my honorable mention list, AJ Styles versus John Cena, SummerSlam 2016, y'all. That was a great match. If I recall correctly, AJ Styles won that match clean over John Cena, and it was I always thought that those two like really worked well together. When you have I know John Cena gets a lot of flack for his 5 moves of doom period, but overall, when John Cena's with another good worker, he's just as good as any performer. That's pretty much almost every. He's up there. He's a solid worker when he's with someone, especially when he's with someone else who can work too. And AJ Styles, as we all know, he's up there with the best of them. And y'all think he's maybe the best, but he's definitely up there with the best of them. What's up?
Without question. I mean, who's better?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Who's better?
Yeah. I love you. Well, I agree.
All right,
but yeah. But yeah. Cena versus AJ Styles is really good, and it's crazy. I feel like SummerSlam, like that's like Cena's like killed it at WrestleManias, but like. What's funny? Didn't Cena have like a losing streak at SummerSlam? Like he's like one of the worst SummerSlam performers. Like he's had good SummerSlam matches, but I think his win-loss record is like not good.
Yeah, I know. Like when we lost to like Edge and then Lesnar.
Lesnar destroyed him.
Right.
Lost to AJ Styles.
Yeah, AJ Styles.
I think he lost to Randy Orton one of the SummerSlams. I think he lost to Batista. Yeah, I was watching that the other day. What's up?
No, I'm saying I think the match he had with Batista, I think that's the one where he broke his neck.
Yes, Batista got him with the Batista bomb off the top rope, and I think when Cena landed, it messed up his neck, and he was injured for a couple months.
Yep. So I got a question for both of y'all. Who do y'all think, in your opinion, is Mr. SummerSlam?
Oh, okay. I got it. I got the answer. Y'all are gonna like this answer. I actually made a list of this. Top 5 SummerSlam performers. I'll say everybody else, but I'll say your number 1 is. I couldn't believe it. First off, before I say it, Dalton, how's that burger? Is that a Big Mac?
It is a Whopper, and I'm sorry,
nice.
I'm so unprofessional, but I'm in the car.
No, you gotta eat. You gotta eat. I understand completely. Whoppers. I think the Whopper's a great sandwich, so I get it. I'm hungry right now, looking at you eating that.
I'm sorry for being so unprofessional.
So I was looking over this. I think that Mr. SummerSlam has to go to Brock Lesnar, guys. I think he's got to go to Brock. Here's why. Let me explain. Let me plead my case. SummerSlam 2002. He faces The Rock, one of the biggest stars of all time from the company in wrestling history. And he wins against The Rock, becomes the youngest undisputed champion. I'm sorry, he becomes the youngest, was it undisputed? Youngest undisputed champion at the time ever. And he beats The Rock clean. And, it was kind of like his passing of the torch. It was kind of like you can kind of argue it was a true beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era. But this is the new guy coming up. Rock and Austin are gone. And this is the guy now. This is the next big thing. That's 2002. That's his first year. That's within months of him arriving. 2003, he takes on Kurt Angle. 2004, he's not in the company. All right. 2012, he comes back. He takes on Triple H. Breaks Triple H's arm, right? 2013, he takes on CM Punk, classic match. 2014, destroys John Cena, like eviscerates John Cena, like in a true like moment, like wow, what just happened? 2015 takes on Taker. 2016, I forget at the top of my head, I think he takes on Orton in 2016. I think he takes on Randy Orton in that match. 2017, he takes on Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, and Roman Reigns in a fatal four-way. 2018, he takes on Roman Reigns, and I think he loses the title with that. But it's a big match. 2019 takes on Seth Rollins. Like Brock Lesnar has killed it in SummerSlams. Whether I didn't even really think that, but then I started to make this list, and I'm like, I think Brock Lesnar might. I think he has a strong argument for, as you would say, being Mr. SummerSlam. That's my choice.
He's got the resume, yeah, definitely.
Look, all right. Well, resume-wise, I agree. Fan-wise, I hate it because I don't like him. He gets on my nerves. I can't stand him. I would say it would be between Triple H and Randy Orton. Reason being is because they've consistently been there. And how many matches has Randy Orton and Triple H had in SummerSlam? That has been historic.
Yeah.
Depending on who they're going against, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, for example, 2002. That's historic. Randy Orton, I believe, had a few historic matches in SummerSlam, and he's still there now.
Yeah, he's right.
And because Brock Lesnar, he had to get help from Paul Heyman to build the storyline. Nobody else has gotten help from anybody to do that. When I think of Triple H, well, Stephanie ain't do nothing. She just got boobs. But when it comes to even Randy Orton, nobody else has done anything to, help. Brock Lesnar needed Paul Heyman to build that storyline because everybody hates him. So it's like, I'm just like, look, y'all got help. But, Mr. SummerSlam, I just feel like Triple H, between Triple H and Randy Orton, between them two, have had some historic matches. And not only historic, but it's memorable because everybody remembers it.
Rock versus Triple H, that's one of the best SummerSlam matches of all time. Triple H taking on King. Yeah, you're right. Triple H has had a lot. Triple H versus Shawn, as you said. Triple H in the match with Jesse Ventura. SummerSlam '99, Sharif. Stone Cold and Mankind. Yeah, Triple H has been there. And I like to shout out to Orton, too. I think, maybe, while we're on Randy Orton, I think, actually, never mind. That'll be later. Sharif, who do you think? Who do you think is Mr. SummerSlam?
Y'all disagree with me. I think it's Bret Hart, honestly. I think.
He went.
There's something wrong with that. Sharif, he's number 2 on my list. He's number 2.
Oh, you put him number 2?
Yeah, I put him number 2. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I think he's number 1. I know he doesn't have the longevity of those guys because he went to WCW and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think throughout the '90s, him at SummerSlam, it speaks for itself.
Sharif, I agree with you 100%. If not Brock Lesnar, no, for real. When I made the list, I put Bret Hart number 1 without thinking. But then as I looked, I'm like, Brock Lesnar. But Bret Hart, dude, he in the top 10 the top 10 SummerSlam match list, he has 3 in the top 10 in my list. You're right. Yeah, he's.
Wait, so did you say that Bret Hart made the list?
He just made the list.
Bret Hart just made the list. Yeah.
He made the list. Okay. So let's sign it. He just made the list.
Sharif, I like that pick. I think everyone's pick is good, but Dalton, crew, I think it's about time we have a little talk about Randy Orton. Dalton, you mentioned that Randy Orton, he's Mr. He has a case for Mr. SummerSlam, and it's SummerSlam weekend and whatnot. And Orton, is Orton a little underestimated in his legacy? I'm serious. He's improved in all facets. On the mic this year, he's been amazing. But do you think, honestly, if you're ranking the tiers of top stars, I don't think I would Orton in the first year, but other people would. Other people would have him high up there. I don't know. I think he's a legend. He's up there, but I'm not sure he's in top 10 for me. But I think he'd be a top 20-ish. But
Oh no,
I feel like is that disrespectful? I don't know.
I think Randy's top 10 to 12, right in between. I think Randy's really. I think he's underappreciated. I don't think people understand what Randy has done. Randy comes in. He comes in as a young kid, like with Triple H and Flair, wins the title, and he comes in. He transforms into the Legend Killer, who kills all the legends, and then he transforms again into the Viper, which, in my opinion, I think he's one of the top 5 heels in WWE history, because nobody understands that, like, when he's a heel, he is fire. He is on point. And I think people underappreciate what exactly he does as a heel, because he brings everybody up. Hell, right now he's going for the WWE Championship, and like as much on fire that what's his name has been as a champion.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, as much as on fire as he's been, everybody's like, yo, Randy's like, I think Randy got a shot. Every single time. You can't ever say in his career that he went against somebody that he never has a shot.
That's fair.
You can't say that about Randy Orton. Randy Orton always has a shot. You don't know where he's going to come from. Hell, even when he came back with Edge, he came back on fire. Like, he is not only he came up as a ring general, in my opinion, but as a heel, he's always been on fire. He always has been. And I feel like people don't understand or appreciate him doing that, because even when he comes back, it doesn't matter if he's a heel, if he's a face, whatever. Randy Orton always brings it every single time.
That's a mighty good analysis of Randy Orton. Reef, what do you think about that?
About Orton?
Yeah. About Randy Orton. Is he underappreciated?
I think Carlton said it best. Like, he's, especially with the Viper like gimmick, like he just took that like to another level. Like there was the Legend Killer, but then like this has just been like, as a heel, he's been perfect. Like I can't really argue. Like he's been taking out like everybody, and like even the video that you posted that was like comedy with like Flair, like it was perfect. He took him out like he and like even the thing with like the simple stuff with when he does like the punt, like that's like a heelish move. Like, it's like underappreciated. Like so yeah, I think Carlton is right. Like he's just been on fire for like well over a decade now. Like,
yeah, I think I have to agree with this. I think in terms of what he's brought to the forefront for all these years for the company, he's been, not only does he have an argument for Mr. SummerSlam, he has an argument for one of the best WWE superstars of all time. He does. I don't think he's quite there with some of the people I usually would probably put over him. But I can see Carlton like that. If there was like a after 10, like that, like 15 to 10 range, he's probably like firmly in there. Yeah, his RKO is like a iconic. He hits it from anywhere, out of nowhere. He's improved on his mic skills. He's always just been there. He's been around some of the most legendary moments in the company's history, especially the past 10 years. Yeah, and he doesn't quite get mentioned, maybe like he should be mentioned. He's had
like visuals, like
say again.
Like even like his like visuals, like him just like slithering, like just kind of like
yeah.
It's just like the little stuff like that just puts him in a different like category than everybody else. Like
I hear you. I hear that. Like he's had great feuds with obviously Triple H. He's had great feuds with Mick Foley, Edge. Like if you think about it, like what he's done over the years, and that's early Orton. That's like within the first 6 years, like first 6 years of Randy Orton being in the company. Like it's 2020 now, and
but look at what he's done recently though. Like recently, he's
gotten better.
I felt like he's merged both like the Viper and Legend Killer into one person, because not only did he like come at Drew McIntyre, I won the title. He then did a TikTok with the little title belt. Like he did that. But then if you look at what he did on Raw with low blow Shawn Michaels. So it's like the legend killer. He's like, I'm ruthless. I don't care who you are. You could be a legend. You can be new. You could be the current champion. I'm going to get you. So the fact that he's like merging those two characters into one to like bring out like this is a brand new Randy Orton that like I'm just hungry. It don't matter who I am. Like that's the difference. And I'm just like, yo, this dude can sit there and do like 2 or 3 different freaking characters. He has it in one. I'm like, man, he didn't kill Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels on one and then Drew McIntyre on the other. Like it's crazy in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's true. And shout out to Orton for his mic skill improvement. His mic skill improvement, like we Reed, we held a poll on the page about his mic skill work. Wasn't it like 92%? It was like ridiculous. Like,
yeah.
Like, no, but really, like I'm watching Raw and I'm like, yo, this is the best Randy Orton's been on the mic and I can remember. I think, like, what just happened? It's crazy. Wrestling is crazy sometimes. Like, Randy Orton just turned 40, but so this isn't the first. Like, remember when Taker in the 2000s? Taker in the ring, Taker's best years were in his 40s, like against Angle, against HBK again, against Edge, against Batista, all that like 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like even against when he faced CM Punk, he was like 47 years old. Like he but Orton is he just turned 40 and he's just like killing it. His mic skills are great. His ring prowess has never been better. I got to give it to him, and special appreciation from the wrestling crew on Crew Talk to Randy Orton. We all appreciate your greatness, and we all think that you're a beacon for a generation of fans, and much respect for what he's done. Yeah. Since we were talking about Mr. SummerSlam, so to recap, I say Brock Lesnar. Colin, you say Triple H or Randy Orton. Sharif, you say Bret Hart. Just to round out who else I had on that particular list, as I've been like trying to curate these lists and all that stuff. I think I can't see it right now, so I'm going to go off the top of my head. I had Brock Lesnar 1. I had Bret Hart 2, a very close 2. Number 3, actually, I have The Rock. Because I think The Rock, even though he's had smaller amounts of SummerSlams, SummerSlam has kind of been his event. 1998 Triple H Intercontinental title match is one of the best ladder matches ever at the time. He then, 99, it wasn't that good of a match with Billy Gunn, but we'll go over that one. But he won that match. So 2000, he has a great triple threat match with in a coinciding with a great storyline that's going on at the time with Kurt Angle and Triple H and Stephanie. But he wins that triple threat match. That match is crazy because Kurt Angle gets hurt at the very beginning of the match. It's Triple H versus The Rock, and then Kurt Angle comes back in, and it's just a crazy match. 2001, he takes on Booker T, and he wins the WCW Heavyweight Championship against Booker T in a great match. And then finally, 2002, he takes on Brock Lesnar in what has now been seen as like kind of like a passing of the torch match. So I think The Rock has, even though it's a short span, like he really made SummerSlam kind of like his event, I feel. So I gave him the nod for 3. Number 4, I had to put HBK. HBK SummerSlam 1995. HBK versus Vader 1996. HBK versus Triple H 2002. HBK versus Hogan. I'm just giving the nod there for number 4. Number 5, Colton, I had Triple H. Number 5 was Triple H, but after hearing what you said about Orton, yeah, Orton definitely has a case for that. So yeah, that's for. What do y'all think about that? I tried. I was trying to think that. I think that's a solid top 5.
Yeah, solid. Definitely.
Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, that's
okay.
Solid. I would think between Orton and Triple H between the 5. Because I felt like Shawn Michaels carried Well, Triple H probably carried Shawn Michaels considering that he's been out the ring for 4 years.
Yeah, yeah.
But they just know each other that well, you know. And then you have Orton, who always comes in and just does what he does. But I mean, I would put Triple H at 5. I think that's a solid 5.
Cool. SummerSlam has also brought some crazy moments. Obviously, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he got his neck broken by Owen Hart, SummerSlam 1997. That's one of my favorite SummerSlams. I put that in the top 5 for me. Mankind versus Triple H, in the steel cage match was really good, and Owen Hart versus Austin was a good match up until Austin unfortunately gets his neck broken by that modified tombstone power driver by Owen Hart.
Which was unintentional.
Bret Hart versus Taker. Bret versus Taker is a classic. That launches HBK going into Maniac mode, taking on the Undertaker at Hell in a Cell and all that stuff like that. I think SummerSlam 97 is one of my favorites. Like SummerSlam in the 90s was stacked, y'all. Like I was just like thinking like almost everyone was good. 91 was good. 92 was good. 94 was good. 96 was good. 97 was good. 98 was good.
That's crazy. Every storyline was great. Every storyline we got now, every storyline was good.
Now, speaking of now, Carlton, great segue. What are y'all excited about?
Hello?
I think he.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Carlton?
I'm in and out. Yo, can you hear me? What happened?
I can hear you. Can you
okay.
hear me?
Okay, I can see you now. Yeah, I can see you. Yeah, I can see you.
I think this thing went out.
Okay. Yeah, I was just like, oh, I wanted to hear the segue.
All right, I guess give it like
but,
yeah.
Go ahead. Probably jump back in, but either or, yeah. When you look at the 1990s to the 2000s, I mean the storylines was great, and honestly, I feel like it's because they actually had competition. I feel like it's because of WCW coming in, and even ECW. And I like that shirt, by the way. Shout out to wearing an ECW shirt. But
Philly, you know what it is, man. You know what it is.
But I feel like it's because they had competition to go up against. Because of that, if they didn't have the competition, then they just feel as though they're going to watch regardless. So that's why they're not putting in the work into the storylines. And I feel like that's what makes it the best is the storylines.
Right. Do you think AEW, once they get a few years in, they may do a counter program to SummerSlam, or do you think they're going to kind of leave that alone?
I think AEW is going to.
I think they should.
I mean, you know why? Because AEW already did a counter this Saturday when they went against
Takeover.
They went against NXT Takeover, and they all into Dynamite because obviously basketball is going on, so they went into Dynamite.
Right.
So they went up against NXT, and I thought, because I saw Brody Lee just kill the whole Rhodes family. I'm like, yo, that's fire. But same thing. Then I see Keith Lee lose the championship. I'm like, oh, what the hell's going on? Like, two different.
I saw that coming, y'all. I saw that coming. Now, our NXT correspondents are Chris Stako and Chris Brandau, who are not on this show right now, but shout out to them. They hold it down for the crew for NXT. I briefly spoke with Stako, who was shocked and so pissed off about Keith Lee losing, but
wrong, bro.
No, I hear you. Look. I hear you.
Why did they do that to the black man? No, I'm joking. I'm messing.
Exactly.
People gonna hate it.
Look, y'all are right in what you're saying. However, give me a moment. If y'all saw Karrion Kross debut, the first thing, at least for me, to this man, they are pushing the hell out of this. And Like,
They are, yeah.
he goes from debuting to a title match within what, less than 2 months, less than a month and a half or something. I'm like, I'm not surprised he won. I'm just not surprised.
Yeah, but no,
So
but
here's what happens.
No,
Hold on.
Do not give Keith Lee both straps. He had both straps. For him to lose it a month later, he lost both straps in a month. Don't give him two belts just to lose it in a month. Like, really? What? You wouldn't do that? Like, what was it? Becky Dose belts, and Becky Lynch had her both titles, and then you got Bayley got both titles. So Sasha Banks got both titles. They held that title longer than they did.
Yeah, that was disrespectful.
You can't do Keith Lee like that.
I know.
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just passionate. I just saw that. I was just like, yo, that's drawing. Like, why would they do that to my guy?
So do you think he's going to the main roster now?
That's the only reason why
I think the Karrion Kross.
Do you think he stays with NXT?
Hold on.
That's the only reason why I think he's going to. And if he did, then great.
I think that with Karrion Kross, guys, he better hold the title for the next year if they gave it to him like this. He has to hold the title for 6 months. He has to hold the title for 6 months. If they're gonna push him like this, they gotta hold it. He has to hold it for at least 6 months. That's how I'm looking at it. He has to hold it for a long time. And he has to be dominant. If they're gonna do it like this, they put all that spectacle on his entrance. They're trying to make this guy like an unbeatable monster.
Keith Lee deserves a longer title reign than about 30 days.
Now here's what I want to say about Keith Lee. Keith Lee is so good. I'm not putting him up there with like an AJ Styles and HBK, but I'm saying he's so good that actually him losing isn't going to destroy him. He's going to bounce back from it. He's not going to be destroyed from it. He can actually be great without a title. It would be great if he had a title, but he's so talented, so good in the ring, so charismatic. He can actually afford losses. Karrion Kross, with how they strap this guy, he has to win. He has to be dominant. So that's just what it is. That's how I'm looking at it. I understand. I feel the Keith Lee.
He needs to have the championship. That is all I'm saying. Okay? You don't give him 30 days after working his behind off to get the North American Championship. Then once he gets the championship, you give him 30 days? 30 days? I feel like it's a conspiracy. It's a conspiracy, and I will not agree to it. I'm sorry. This is the Stephen A. coming out of me. I don't agree. I will not agree. Okay.
Blasphemous. That's blasphemous. The unmitigated gall. The temerity.
And if Keith Lee does not come up in SummerSlam or on Raw tomorrow, then it was a waste of time.
Well, we'll see. It was Triple H's decision. So we'll see what he's doing. I like Triple H. He's been doing great with NXT. Let's see what happens. Yeah. We'll see.
Triple H, Mr. SummerSlam, you are right. You're going to make a decision for 2 brands right now. The ball is in his court. Hashtag Triple H.
So we just talked about Keith Lee losing the championship to Karrion Kross last night at NXT TakeOver. Now it's SummerSlam. What match tonight are y'all excited for? Obviously, I'm excited for Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. However, I'm kind of excited for Dominic versus Seth Rollins. I'm excited to see what Dominic can do in the ring. Dominic obviously is the son of the legendary, iconic Rey Mysterio, the man who changed the game in the States for showing lucha libre style on a mainstream level. Rey Mysterio is the GOAT in regards to that. He's just an icon. And Dominic, let's see what Dominic's got. Dominic for getting that ass whooping with those kendo sticks a couple weeks ago. I'm still floored by that. That man, little Dominic has come up because he deserves stripes for that. I'm excited for that match. What do y'all think?
That's my pick. My pick is Dominic, and I give Dominic 110% because to think that I looked at Eddie Guerrero and him in the ring, I think it was 2004 or 2002, whatever.
Something like that, yeah. 2005.
2000, yeah.
It was Ray versus Eddie for the what is it? Winner is
custody of Dominic.
Guardian, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But like the fact that I seen that kid, like literally, I seen that kid about 15 years ago, and now this kid is getting ready to get into the ring.
Crazy.
And go against Seth Rollins, who is one of the best technical wrestlers, in my opinion, today in the ring on Raw. Seth Rollins is great, which can hold him down. I love that. So I think that, I think it's going to be a great match, and my money's on Dominic, because that's my guy. That's my guy. I didn't see you as a kid. I didn't see you come up, and now you're taller than your father. Let's go. Like, I'm good. I'm with it. I'm with Dominic. Dominic.
All right, Sharif, what do you think?
I can't argue with that. I mean, Dominic and Seth. I think that's going to still steal the show.
All right, so we're all excited for that.
Yeah, I think in this match, though, I'm more excited to see how innovative Dominic can be in the match because of his bloodline coming from Rey Mysterio. So Rey Mysterio has always been innovative and done crazy stuff. I just want to see what he can do in the ring. That's it.
And you know what's crazy? And I'm sitting there, I'm trying my best not to try to compare him to his father. I was like, he's not a Rey Mysterio.
Right.
He will not be a Rey Mysterio. Dominic is going to be a Dominant. So I'm trying to have him. So as long as he can technically wrestle in that ring and do what he's supposed to do, then I'm good with that. But I have to. It's like because I'm a Ray Jr. fan and I'm also a Dominic fan. Obviously, I want to make sure that I don't compare him to his father. So I just want to see if he can wrestle instead of him doing hurricanranas and all this other stuff, because I don't think so. I mean, if he does that, I mean, I'm going to freaking throw my stuff, like if he does that. I don't think so, but I'll be shocked.
I feel you. Actually, this is going to be left field, but I'm excited for what's going to happen between Bayley, Asuka, and Sasha. I think that Bayley and Sasha have been the two most entertaining heels outside of Randy Orton, what he's been doing. They've been the two most entertaining heels on WWE television for me. I think they're
Asuka Dolspell.
I think Colin just dropped off, but I'll keep going here, y'all. I think that I'm just really excited, Sharif, like how I like what Bayley and Sasha have been able to do. I think that they've really like adapted and really settled into their heelness. I've liked Bayley's heel mode for the past year or so. I think she's definitely comfortable in it. I love how obnoxious they are. They backed it up in the ring. Sasha always, as we've known with NXT, she's always been a better heel. Sasha's a sick heel. Sasha can be a freaking heel. And I love it. I want to see how that plays out. I think it's been a cool storyline. Anytime I think they're going to break up Sasha and Bayley, they always make sure they're together. I always think there's going to be like some hints that they're going to split, but it's like, nope, we're together. We're best friends. Yay. Like, so.
Action, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think here. What's another match? What's up?
I don't want to see them lose the titles yet, though.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to what you said. Like
what did you say?
No, I was saying I think it goes back to what you said. Like they've always been great as like heels. So like I want to just see them. I want to see them go honestly until like next year into Mania.
Yeah.
And then whatever happens there, like happens. Either they break up or they feud or they feud with somebody else, like Becky or somebody.
Yeah, agreed. I think I would like to see them go long term. I like what they've been doing. Sometimes when something's working, you just gotta roll with it. And I think I agree, Sharif. They should roll with Sasha and Bayley. They need to roll with that like as much as they can. Do you think that Randy Orton is going to defeat Drew McIntyre tonight for the title?
Oh man.
Here we go. What do you think do you think they should do? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think they should? What do you think should happen?
Oh man, you put me in the spot. All right, I think. All right, I'll say this. I think they should keep it on Drew.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Randy. It's only because I like the fact that Drew has been a stellar like champion, and like he's been great on the mic. It's just the whole COVID thing that's kind of like messing it up.
Yeah.
Where he's like under. Yeah. That's that's literally the only thing. But he's been like great as the head, as like the champion. So.
Sharif, I agree. I think Drew McIntyre, his story is amazing, man. He has stepped up to the plate. He not only has the look, he's great he's really good in the ring, if not great. I would say really good. Maybe great's a little too hyperbolic, but he has the total package. He has what surprised me with Drew is his I didn't think he had that much charisma a while ago, but now that dude's charismatic AF, man. He's like, and you're right. What he does is a lot of crowd interaction. He needs a crowd. And I think we won't see his max potential without a crowd. So there's talk, and there's talk in the wrestling community with conversations such as these, that maybe Drew McIntyre should be crowned in front of a crowd. So maybe he should lose the title, and then he should be crowned again, maybe like next year. Who knows what they're going to do? But I hear you. I think that Drew McIntyre has done an exceptional job. He has shown range on the mic. He's not boring. He can be dangerous and also funny. That's really something that I think is really cool with him. He can be flat out hilarious. He can be charming, but then he can be a beast. Like, this is not a diss to Roman Reigns, but he's doing what Roman Reigns, I think they wanted Roman Reigns to do. I'm not trying to throw heat. I'm just saying I think that I think what they wanted to happen with Roman Reigns, I think that Drew is carrying that right now.
Remember that one pay-per-view where like Roman Reigns showed it a little bit, where he was like beating the crap out of Triple H? I forgot what it was. I think it was like TLC or like something, and like everybody was like, yeah, like show that more, and he like didn't, like after that.
Never again.
Like here we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Everything that Drew McIntyre is doing now is like, that's what Roman Reigns should have done. Like all that rage and everything. You can tell Drew McIntyre is like comfortable, and he's like, he's
comfortable.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know why I bet he's comfortable, Sharif? Because he worked. I'm not saying everyone's worked their ass off in the company, so I'm not saying this about Roman Reigns, since we just talked about him. But I'm saying I think with Drew McIntyre's particular story, with his rise and having lost everything and then coming back and working his way back, now that he's gotten to this, I think he's like, okay, he's comfortable, he's good, he's in it, he's in the moment, because he knows he can lose it. If that makes any sense. He knows it can go away. Right. So that's why he's just like taking it in.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%, bro. 100%. With all that said, I think that tonight's event's going to be good. I'm excited to see where the event's going to go. If Randy Orton wins, I'm okay with it. I think I want Drew McIntyre to win, but Randy Orton, sometimes he's just hot. He's just on fire right now. He's firing on all cylinders, and there's no crowd, but I feel like a lot of people, this is one of those times where like, we get it. Either way, you have the one thing I'll say is this, though. The one thing I'll say is this. We've said in the past, we have multiple conversations like this, Sharif, with me, with you and I, and like the larger, group as a whole. WWE has to build new stars, and Drew McIntyre has a shot to be like that. Even though he's been in it forever, he has a shot to legit be like we can think 10 years from now, Drew McIntyre was one of those guys. Like, you know what I mean? He's not a flash in the pan. Like I think that it's important that they continue to build him, and not if he loses the title, Like they don't throw him away like other people that they've done. He needs to stay. He needs to stay at the forefront. If he loses the title tonight, that's all I'm saying. Like I get it. I get Randy Orton, everything he's done. He's been on fire. I know what they wanted. I know that Edge is injured too. They probably like. Let's be honest. They probably want to have. I wouldn't be surprised if Randy Orton won and he defended it against Edge or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We know how WWE works. But right. they have a star. Say it again.
I said that's probably gonna happen at Mania or like something.
Yeah, you know, like we already see it coming. Like, it's funny. The tagline is "You'll never see it coming." That's the tagline tonight. So,
I don't think it has nothing to do with Orton and the RKO. I think it's like something that we're not even going to like.
Here we go. Did you see what Brandel said? I want to talk about that. Did you see what he said?
No, what?
Yo. He said he was thinking about that you never see it coming. He said Retribution, right? Retribution is going to show up tonight. He said, what if Roman Reigns is the leader of Retribution?
I like that actually. Yeah, that would be interesting.
I'll tell you right now, before we say that, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. I'm for that. Like, actually, it's something different. Yes. So
he wasn't. But by all intents and purposes, and Roman Reigns is a great guy. He's a great, awesome guy. He's a family man. Seems to be a very charming and just actual good person. But
definitely
his gimmick, they really tried to. Unfortunately, I feel like WWE hurt him because they really overly tried to just shove him off everyone's faces. Like they just really were trying to push him, and like the crowd wasn't having it. And I'm like, Roman Reigns is talented. He has the look. He's talented. He can be a beast. Like, you need to tend to his strengths. Don't try to make him something he's not. And I think if he were a heel, where he was just maybe he just says one or two things and just beats the shit out of people, right? Like, maybe that's all he needs to do. And if he was the leader of Retribution and he's just like showing up, hair all down, hoodie, being like, go mess these people up, he might become the most over guy in the company overnight. That's
I just wish they pulled the trigger more on like some of these stars and just put them as heel. Like when they were doing the thing with like I don't mean to get off topic, but like when they were doing the thing with Cena, where they were telling him like to embrace the hate, and Kane was telling him to embrace the hate, and they even did a segment with Piper, and he was telling them like, and Piper was telling them like, if you don't tell these people how you really feel, you're gonna go crazy. Like that was the time to like do it, and they didn't. It was like, what's the whole point?
Yeah, man. Agreed, man. We obviously we watch WWE, we love WWE, but because we're such longtime fans, like we definitely have that like connection to them, and we know their tendencies. You're 100% right, man. Sometimes they don't pull the trigger when they should have. Now they used to do that. Sometimes they made ballsy moves. Like actually, I was rewatching, to get off the topic right now, as well. I was rewatching Raws from like '98. The Rock was like Austin held that show down that year. Like, dude, there was a stretch from September. I was watching like Raw like in '98 on the network, like from like September to like from the beginning of '98, and I got to like September, like just going through random episodes. And there was like a 6-week stretch where like every episode was better than like anything that we've seen over the past 15 years. Austin Zamboni, Austin with the Corvette, Austin with the Bang 316, the Rock bottoming Vince McMahon, Taker and Kane. After the Zamboni happens, I think after the Zamboni happens, Taker and Kane. Like Taker takes the steel steps and puts it on Vince McMahon's ankle and breaks his ankle. Like I'm like, this is crazy. Like this is insane. What's going on right now? Like, and just like during that time, The Rock was like ascending as like a second star. He was already like he had been heel a month before, but then all of a sudden the crowd loved the guy, and then you're thinking like, oh my God, this guy's like already the second biggest face in the company, And then here's what happens at Survivor Series: they turn him heel to go against Austin. Like that was a ballsy move. Like they don't do that anymore. That made sense. It made sense at the time. And because what you said, it just made me think like they weren't safe. They flipped it. They flipped it and it made sense. And yeah, they just kind of, I feel like because they were so successful in Ruthless Aggression and Attitude Era that they kind of rest on their laurels a little too much. And sometimes it's like when you make like the decision you should make is right in front of you, but they overthink it and don't do it. And it's like,
right.
I don't know. So I hear you, man.
Like I think honestly, what it's going to take is, and there were I think either Cody Rhodes or Tony Khan confirmed this, one of those two. But they was basically that like they're eventually going to create another show like opposite of Dynamite. That's going to be live. That's going to be on.
It's going to be on Monday.
Don't know.
Oh,
they confirmed it, but it could compete with SmackDown, Raw. We don't know. But they did confirm that eventually they were going to create another show.
Good. More competition, man.
Live WCW Nitro and Thunder, like just like that. Like,
yeah. Well, competition matters, man, because it's the truth. I was watching those episodes, and I'm like, wow, every episode's fire. But then you just mentioned competition. Why was every episode fire like that in 1998? Gee, I wonder why. Maybe because WCW was right there during that time, going neck and neck. Like Goldberg, Sting, NWO Wolfpack, NWO, Eddie, Jericho. They were all there on WCW competing in the ratings against them, so they had to be on their game. So I applaud it. I hope honestly, I think it would serve the whole industry well if AEW were to beat WWE a couple times on Raw or SmackDown, not just NXT, because NXT, that's a big deal that they beat them a couple times, but NXT's like we think we think NXT is like probably the best quality of everything, but they look at it as their like minors like C show, right?
Right.
If AEW can get a win, if AEW can put some heat on Raw, that's really gonna make them think again, So,
but I think it still goes back to what you said though, like because like even with AEW, like they're to move the needle, they're still gonna have to sign like that Cena.
I got you. Yup. You gotta get they got one more person. I agree. That can be a topic for another. That can be a topic for another crew talk, man. We are actually running out of time. It's a 60-minute time limit on this. So yeah, man. This is. I hope everyone who watches this gets a clue onto how the feel of the show is going to be. It's very laid back. Usually we all drink. I was drinking today. I was drinking a Mojito that I got. This like cocktail, Cayman Jack Cuban Mojito, really good. I'm not sure I should even be advertising this, but whatever.
Whatever it is.
As long as good. It is what it is. With Crew Talk, we're gonna have guests on the show. There's gonna be roundtables like we just had with me, with the main crew, with like the founders of the group. Me, Sharif, who's with us right now, and Colin was with us earlier. And, it's just going to be good times. We're going to be talking about what we love to talk about, which is wrestling. We're going to talk about other stuff, too. We love pop culture. Like, I'll just say that Batman trailer was fire, but that's another conversation, too. But we'll talk about it all. But overall, wrestling with the wrestling crew, wrestling touches everything. Wrestling touches all facets of culture. Pro wrestling is ingrained into our lives, and we love talking about it. We love debating about it, and we love making jokes about it. So make sure to follow our page, RealTWC, at RealTWC on Instagram. We just joined TikTok at RealTWC. Make sure to watch our NXT reviews via Chris Stako on YouTube. All that information is on our Instagram page. And thanks everybody for watching us. We appreciate it. Sharif, the GOAT, thanks so much for holding it down and holding down a page and everything, and just helping us become what we become. And it only gets bigger from here, man. So thank you very much. Signing off, Food Talk. Later. Enjoy SummerSlam, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
All right, man. Later.